Get your snaps ready because our next guest is an internationally renowned poet, playwright, performance artist, and producer.
Performing a poem from her upcoming album, Black Tea, The Legend of Jesse James, is Jessica Caremore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you are a woman, when you are brown, when you are brave, when you walk over glass like water, when you know your eyes are borrowed like time, when you peel off your skin for the very first time. Fear is never in style in the Mecca of the blue. Fear never lives in the gut of the new. You want poems, and I want to build my home. You want poems, and I just want love in my hands. You want poems, and I'm not interested in fans. You love me inside my magic, and I just want you to see you already had it. It is a telling when someone asks. It's the way he holds the glass, licks the surface, examines without touching. It's the way our energy takes over rooms. It is the subtle conversation. It is the freedom of emancipated language. It is words scribbled inside our skin. It is a curve of the line, the beauty of the lies. Stories passed down through generations of pain and pride. Ocean and tide. Water remembers, water returns. African mermaids blending with dark sand. It is the danger of the dance, the upright bass of the heart. The dice roll drum, the cymbal tease, the last laugh, the addiction to this moment. Where else do I put it? Don't know where to put it. Place it, bury it deep in my chest, back of my throat. Where should I hide it? On this stage? Should I give it to you? Here is my honesty, my work undressed. Legs stretched across piano, traded like cattle, raped like animal, left for dead, sucked dry for inspiration, and love with the idea of living long enough to simply write about it, push it out my body and watch my son slowly grow into it. You said you want a poem. Now what you gonna do with it? Huh? Etta, Billy, Phyllis, Nina, Whitney, how much time you got? I'm a body of clocks. I'm a master of mics. I'm a metaphor for survival. I'm the gold they use to build their churches, a beautiful idea to flirt with, but who should I marry? The moonlight, the sunrise, the white dove, the wolf, an eastern wind, this music a prayer. How many babies we gonna make inside a song? Which nation, which revolution shall we rule? The island of the spirit world, the beauty of the believers, the carpenters, the men who build the dream and place you on the front line of their planet. One day, the stars will line up between breath and ink and voice, between reality and choice. It is the danger of the dance, the upright heart of the bass, the dice roll drum, the cymbal tease, the last laugh, the addiction to this moment. That's the acapella without the music.
That was incredible.
Thank you. It's my new jazz project. I'm really excited about it.
I can't.
You're supposed to clap. We Africans clap. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Are you kidding?
I appreciate it.
Thank you for that. That was powerful.
Thank you.
Powerful.
Roy Ayers is playing on the song. My Baba Roy Ayers, who have been a good friend of mine for a long time, and Jose James, who's on Blue Note Records, incredible artist out of Minneapolis.
And the line, fear never lives in the gut of the new.
No.
Break that down. I get it, but break it down for the viewers.
You know, the piece really is about being a woman, and this new music and new writing that I'm at the age that I'm at. You know, I've been married. You've been a wife. I'm a mommy, and so I've been through a lot. And when you're a strong woman of color, it's not always easy to find your reflection. Yeah. And so it's about my frustration with like being very open to love, but not being able to find, you know, that person that isn't scared.
Yeah.
So I don't have time for fear. You know, I have institutions to build, I have a son to raise well, and so a brother, a man that's in my life has to be okay with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
No shaking in the boots, you know.
They also have to be a metaphor for survival.
Exactly. But that would be us, you know, and that's definitely what I think women are, you know. And all the work that I do is very woman-centered now, and because we have to support women artists, because women artists are mothers, and people don't usually look at us in that context. But a lot of us are raising families with our art, and so a lot of my work is based around that.
You were first introduced to us on the Apollo, the first ever poet to win the Apollo.
Glad you saw that.
I saw that. I remember watching it and thinking to myself, who is this woman?
Yeah, it changed my life.
It did.
Yeah.
You rubbed the rock and...
The crazy Steve Harvey was the host, and Kiki Shepard was doing the thing in my head. And it was a dream, you know? It was a dream. I never expected to win, to be honest. And so when I won, and then won again, and won again, you know, I'm in Harlem, so it was the same people letting me win, you know, again and again, three tapings in a row. And then I came back the next day, did the 2 more shows, and then they just said, stop.
Wow.
So I never lost. They just retired me and made me an Apollo legend like a year later.
The youngest living Apollo legend,
The youngest living.
right?
Yeah, isn't that something?
Wow.
Yeah, somebody else better do it.
What was that moment like for you, and how did it change the course of your life?
It was surreal. My father wasn't there. My father was a big inspiration to my work and who I am as a woman. I was raised by my daddy, and he wasn't there, physically. I moved to New York City after my daddy died.
Okay.
And so I'd only been living for 5 months in New York City, in Brooklyn. And so I really gave my daddy that credit of making that happen for me, being not scared to go on that stage and do a poem in front of that audience. But I haven't worked a day job since. I've been living off poetry for 20 years now. So
you're probably maybe one of 5 people in the world who can say that.
I know all of them. Actually, they're all my friends. There's more than 5, but a lot of
probably you and Solon.
Yeah, me and Solon from my generation, and there's a couple more. Actually, stop playing, get me in trouble. And then my elders, Sonia Sanchez, and we just lost Amiri Baraka, who's one of my papas, and so the last poets are still here. We lost Gil, so we're here. There is a tradition being passed down though, so we got a crew.
Well, tell us how those legends influence your career, and did they give you advice along the way?
They gave me advice. They gave me notes. Sonia Sanchez tell me, like, she saw me on the road once, and she's like 40 years older than me, and said, you look tired, telling me what to eat. So I had to take care of myself. Let me give you these almonds. Let me give you apple cider vinegar, baby. This is what you need to do in the morning.
Everybody keeps talking about apple cider vinegar.
Oh, it's killer. It's everything.
Is that
Yeah, it's for energy boost. I drank it when I was pregnant with my son. It helped me stay up. And yeah, but I'm a mom, and we like work off 2 hours of energy anyway, 2 hours of sleep. I don't sleep much, and But those people were influential in me starting my press. More Black press. I did that instead of I could have had a spoken word poetry label. Instead, I dedicated since '97, I've been publishing other poets. I published Saul Williams' first book, and published Danny Simmons' book, and Elisha Bendelli's book, and Cherise Simmons, and Raz Baraka's book, who's Amiri Baraka and Miriam Amina's son. And so my work has been about institution building, and so that people know that there isn't just me. It's just being me isn't enough. They got to teach more than just me. Because there's a lot of contemporary women of color and poets in general from my generation that just don't get this opportunity. To be honest.
That's true.
And so the Apollo was a big blessing.
When did you realize that you wanted a life in letters?
I've been writing since I was about 9 or 10 years old.
I can relate.
Yeah, forever. And it was actually journalism first. Television news. I thought I wanted to be an anchor. I wanted to do documentary film and work for WGBH. I'm gonna show my age, but I used to love Carol Simpson when she was on ABC News, and she was like my dream. I was like, I want to be like Carol Simpson, do world politics, and so now I'm glad I don't do that because it's become something else, and I have more integrity with what I'm doing and more control over my writing this way. But I wrote for TV news. I got my start writing for the news in Channel 50 in Detroit. I wrote the newscast, and so I wrote it easy and used to get done like it's the 10 o'clock news. I was done by 4, and I used to write poems on the side.
Now, do you find book writing as easy because you just published your 4th book?
My 4th book is coming, Sunlight Through Bullet Holes. I write like water, I'm inspired all the time by a conversation, by a person I see on the street. So when you're a poet, you kind of have that sensibility. I couldn't imagine the poems not coming, and sometimes they don't, because sometimes you have to live so you can be inspired and then have something to write about.
But you have writer's block? No.
Sometimes, just because I'm my mom, I'm busy. My son plays hockey, drums. I got a whole full life with that. And I have to make sure his life is important. So not just when I have to write. But I don't sleep a lot. I write in the middle of the night. I write on planes.
Is it always one piece you write then you finish, or bits and pieces here and you just put them together as you go?
Sometimes it's bits and pieces, but I'm asked to write. Like I just, Nelson Mandela passed, so I was asked to write a piece for Mandela. And so when it's like that, which is very hard. When someone asks me to write something, it's the most difficult thing in the world.
Isn't it so hard?
Yeah.
And a deadline, always the worst.
It makes it feel like work, what I mean? Normally I'll just, see a cute guy and I write a poem about somebody's eyes, or whatever, something that happens. But I'm really moved politically, I mean? I'm definitely like on the pulse of what's happening. So that still have that news junkie in me. So I'd like to write about what's happening in the world.
Well, do you consider yourself a political activist?
Yeah, I do. Work? Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I do work in the jails and prisons. I think I'm a humanitarian. Like I care about people, So our babies in the jails, I teach and write curriculum for juvenile detention centers. So I take poetry into the jails. I never forget I was in Redwood, California with, you know, lifers. You know, these are men, you know, and none of them, not from my community. And I did this like hour performance, talk back, and they were like, we don't know why you came, but just we love you and thank you. Oh. And will you come back and will you come teach workshops? Because we can't understand half of the words you're saying. You're going so fast, you know. And
you're flowing.
Yeah, and so I've seen that trend change lives. And so being in schools, in front of kids, that's a part of the work. You know, you have to be, so literacy, the Jessica Care Moore Foundation is my foundation. I'm building poetry forensics teams right now in Michigan, hoping to bring some of it to New York.
Poetry forensics team,
yeah.
What does that mean?
So it's a blend of, because we've taken drama out of the schools, we've taken art out of the schools, and so it's a way of bridging the gap between a poetry slam competition, but making forensics rules. So it has to be research, it has to be correct facts, so the judges check other things other than just were you cool on stage and the mic. Nice. So getting kids to, like, you know, build their self-esteem, and then they got to do some research. And so and
really quickly, lastly, Black Women Rock.
Can Black Women Rock. It's my 10th anniversary. Yes. I started 10 years ago. And it's to support Black women who play rock and roll. And we've been doing it for 10 years now. And women from all over the country come together in Detroit at the Charles H. Wright. The show's coming up March 15th. Woo! And I have Tamar Kali, Imani Azuri, Joy, who y'all know, Wumi from, you know, UK born but Nigerian bad sister. They haven't, but I'm bringing a lot of artists to Detroit that people haven't seen in Detroit. It's such a radio-heavy town. So there's so many women like me who've traveled all over. I've been all over the world, but I'm not on radio play every day. But it doesn't mean I'm not all over the world, though. It doesn't mean I'm not mainstream. So mainstream is relative. You know, we have cult followings. You know, I've had Navasha Dea, I've had Julie Dexter. Really? You know, I mean, anybody that's making progressive independent music is on the show. Deion Ferris came and blessed us last year, Martha Redbone. Ursula Rucker is the only poet I've ever booked for the show. Because I'm a poet, people assume I'm booking, but it's all vocal, it's all sirens, you know.
Love it. Well,
go great with your new album. So
album
congratulations, good luck on the album, the book, so much to look forward to.
Doing too much, but it's all good, you know.
It's all amazing. Thank you so much, and keep doing it.
I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. And you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.